Welcome. It's Thursday morning, mid-morning here, at least in Los Angeles, and we're coming to you around the globe. It might be afternoon for you, it might be middle of the night, I don't know. You guys are checking in from everywhere, but this is episode number 29 in From Ordinary to Extraordinary, where we meet every single week to talk about the psychology and the strategies to live your ultimate life, ultimate performance. Mastery, I love that term, greatness, finding your genius. And when you understand the psychology or the mindset first, and then you have to apply them. In fact, that's something we're going to talk about at length here today. But weigh in for me. Once again, I always enjoy seeing who's here and where you're from. And a couple of housekeeping items while you weigh in and tell me hello from around the world. First, put your comments down below. I will come back after the fact. I normally don't have time because I'm notorious for going long, and I'm doing my best to keep this to about a half an hour just to respect you and whatever you're up to in the world right now at this particular time. So put your comments down below. I'll come back after the fact, and I always do, and I catch them. I appreciate them. I answer the questions if you have them. And maybe one of these days we'll just do a Q&A here. Who knows? I don't know. We'll go with the flow. But also, if you've missed past episodes, this is episode 29. You can go to jamesray.com/live-cast, and we library all of them right there on that page, so you don't have to scroll forever down through your Facebook feed. So catch up on past episodes. We've talked about a whole lot of great things. One of the most favorites, I think, one of the most watched and listened to was How to Live to Be 100. And I think you might want to do that if you're doing great things in the world, because if you're going to do great things, you have to be around a long time to do great things. Anyway, go to jamesray.com/live-cast. And today we're getting into a really important topic, the trifecta, I call it, of ultimate performance, of absolute success in every single area of your life. Massive success. Would you like to know what the trifecta is? Before we get into that, though, as you continue to weigh in, tell me hello and tell me where you're from. Also, remember to share. I really appreciate this. Community is growing around the globe. The viewership is growing every single week. That means a lot to me because my deepest desire and my complete focus is to provide tremendous value to you. And when you share it, it just tells me real quickly, hey, this was valuable for me, James. Keep it up, and I'm going to share it with my tribe and hopefully help them as well. So help me help you. Help those people that you love and care about. There are some of you who share every single week, and you're in my gold star realm. And get in my gold star realm. Just share. Let's spread the wealth. Let me say a shout out, give a shout out to those of you who shared last week. Jyoti, Aurora, thank you. You're kind of new in our community here, and I really appreciate you. I see your comments, and I appreciate you sharing. L.A. Carter, an old timer. Hey, L.A., thanks for being around, and thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing. Renosa Merchant, Mandy Berlin, Nora Jones, my friend from Dubai, the Rogers twins, Anthony and Andrew. You guys have been consistent since the beginning. Francisco Marisi, thank you, buddy. Nelson Wright, Ravit Artius. I don't know, I've seen your name on the share list before. If I have, forgive me for forgetting, but thank you so much for sharing last week. And I hope you'll continue to be here and continue to do that. Russ Litow, Prairie Sky Natural Healing, Josie Haddad. Thank you, Josie, and Norma Menendez. Thank you so much for sharing what we're up to here. Now, I'm going to give you a lot of noteworthy statements here today that I'm going to encourage you to capture. And I'm going to encourage you to capture those in handwritten notes because that engages the right brain. We've talked about this before, and facilitates whole brain learning, which is powerful. We're losing that art in many, many circles, many, many ways. In fact, many of our young adults don't even know how to write anymore. And we're going to lose it if we're not careful. But take some great notes. Let me just tell you some things right out of the chute here that maybe you're not going to be comfortable hearing, but you need to hear it. There's no quick fix to massive success and fulfillment and ultimate performance. There's no quick fix. There's no secret sauce. There's no, quote, 3 simple steps to ultimate performance. There's no magic bullet. There's no reaching nirvana where bees don't sting you anymore and your shit doesn't stink and there's no pain and life is all rainbows and unicorns. Now I'm sorry if I've just bursted your bubble, but you will never arrive. Now that I've told you there is all the things there is none of, which a lot of people are out there marketing all that stuff, and I'm here to tell you the truth. And deep down inside, you know that. I'm just reminding you of what you already know, right? What there is there's a promise of a fulfilling life. There's a promise of doing something that you're deeply passionate about. There's a promise of finding purpose and getting up every day and working hard, yes, working hard to bring that purpose, to bring that greatness into the world. There is a promise of devoting your entire life to a cause that's bigger than you. Doesn't matter what that cause is. There's a promise of being so fulfilled and so enthusiastic about doing it. Doesn't mean you won't get tired. Doesn't mean you won't get frustrated. Doesn't mean you'll always be happy. People who are happy every day scare the hell out of me, quite frankly, because they're not genuine. All right? They're just plastic. The only person who's happy all the time is a droid. And, and a droid doesn't even know what emotion is. So there are these promises. And I'm going to submit to you that if you'll stick with me here today, that I can help you find the promise and I can help you live the promise. And it's not going to be easy. It's not supposed to be easy. Easy is what's been indoctrinated into our mindset, primarily in the Western culture, but now the Western culture has infected the entire world. It's created a lot of weakness. It's created a lot of comfort. Comfort is a prison. If you're comfortable right now, you're not growing. All right? It's infected us. And I'm going to talk next week about the infection of success. You're going to want to be here. But I won't get ahead of myself. There is a trifecta. It's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. Let's face it. Let's face it. Come on. If it was easy, then everybody would be great. Right? If it was easy, everybody would be masterful. If it was easy, everybody would be fulfilling their purpose and bringing everything they have to the world. It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be meaningful. So there's not an easy. I started off by telling you all the things. There's no easy. All right? If it's easy, it's not great. Put that in your notes. If it's easy, it's not great. James Arthur Ray. James Arthur Ray tells me if it's easy, it's not great. What the hell does he know? Well, he hasn't had an easy life. That's for damn sure. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be easy. Now, let's talk about the trifecta. Trifecta, if that's a fancy word for you, means 3. All right? To massive success and ultimate performance. Here's the first thing, or the next thing I want you to put in your notes, and I hope you're taking copious notes. I hope you're just burning up the pen and pencil and the paper. Your psychology always drives your strategy. Remember, we talk every single week about being here from ordinary to extraordinary. It's about the psychology and the strategy. Your psychology always drives your strategy. Now, let's simplify that. The way you think and feel, always determine how you act. I was doing a coaching session yesterday with a guy in Taiwan, and he was telling me he had been through a certain group of events that I won't name, but if I said the name, you'd know what they are. It's a series of seminars, and they sell you really hard into continuing through and recruiting people. And anyway, and he said, what I learned there is that I'm not my feelings. I said, well, no, you're not your feelings, but I take issue with that because your feelings always determine how you act. And he said, you know what, James, I think you're right. You see, what you think about something and you create a perception around that, you identify that, you label that, which creates a feeling, which is in the body, and it's also in your unconscious. Your unconscious mind is your feeling, emotional mind. And that drives your body to act. Does that make sense to you? That's why, I'm really well known for talking about going 3 for 3. Your thoughts, feelings, and actions all must be in alignment. All must be firing together for you to create the life you desire and deserve. I digress. Your psychology always drives your strategy. The way you think and feel always determines the way you act. Now, how are the majority... Let me drink some moonshine here. I met Pauline Lund 2 weeks ago, and she sees me drinking kombucha every week on this live cast, and she brought me this bottle of kombucha. It's pretty damn cool, pretty damn good, and it's blue, which is a great color, cobalt blue, and it tastes like it's probably about 99% alcohol. Anyway, so I'm going to have fun here today. I hope you are. Now look, how are most people thinking and feeling? If your thoughts and feelings always drive your actions, you with me? You can do a quick assessment about how most people are thinking and feeling. Because what I assess as I look around is that the majority of people are looking for the things that don't exist, that I started off telling you don't exist. They're looking for the next great marketing strategy. They're looking for the next great skill or technique. And I used to be a sales trainer for AT&T, and what I learned by training sales techniques, I could give you the latest and greatest sales techniques, but what I found is that most people would leave the room and they wouldn't do a damn thing with them. Why? Because I hadn't changed the mindset. So the majority of people, just check it out. People that you know, people that you see advertising on Facebook, check it out. How many people are saying, let me help you shift your mindset. Let me help you change your psychology. No, most people are saying, let me teach you how to make $1 million on the internet. Let me teach you how to market. Let me teach you this new skill. And these things are needed. I'm not suggesting they're not needed. But I can also guarantee you that a new marketing skill or technique is not going to create a Steve Jobs and Elon Musk or a Picasso. They're saying I'm frozen. It must be the moonshine, I mean, I don't know. I know the camera got closer, and now I hopefully I'm like right up in your face. Okay. Can you hear me? What my producer here is telling me to.
Not frozen from you.
Not frozen. If I'm frozen for you, it's because your damn internet connection sucks. Okay. If I'm frozen for everybody, maybe mine sucks. But nonetheless, let me get back on point. I'm glad I'm not frozen anymore. It was pretty damn cold being frozen. So those marketing skills and techniques, let me repeat, will never ever create an Elon Musk, a Steve Jobs, or a Pablo Picasso. Now, I'm not suggesting skills aren't present. Stick with me here. And remember, we're talking about the trifecta of maximum success and ultimate performance. Put this in your notes. If those skills and marketing techniques will never create a Jobs or a Musk or a Picasso, put this in your notes. It stands to reason that you must focus on your mindset over your marketing. Does that make sense to you? Let me go back to my example of training sales at AT&T, sales skills. Most people leave the room and they would never ever do it. Why? Because in their mind, in their beliefs, in their values, in their self-image, in their assumptions, they say, oh, well, that's all well and good for James Arthur Ray to talk about those things, but I can't do that. That makes me uncomfortable. I'm not good at that. Whatever. Focus on your mindset over your marketing. Now, both are necessary, but mindset drives the bus. So, is it just about mindset? No, it's not. It's not. But it is about mindset. That's at least 33% of the equation, 1/3 of the equation. To have the correct mindset, you have to be going after something that inspires you. Now, I love the word inspiration because if you know the Latin root, the prefix "in" means to be. So inspired, in spiritus, means to be spirit, to be filled with the life force. Pretty cool, right? But inspiration isn't enough either. I mean, how many young guys were inspired to be Kobe Bryant, for instance? Many young boys, I'm sure, were inspired to be Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan, and they ended up bagging groceries in the checkout line. Now, please don't get me wrong here. There's nothing wrong at all with bagging groceries if it's your purpose, if it's your calling. But falling into that as a last-ditch effort because you aren't finding your purpose, you aren't finding your calling, you aren't using the trifecta, and you aren't going after your own greatness is a sad waste of time and life. Are you with me on this? Does that make sense? Have you potentially fallen into a career, just fallen into it, that's not your calling? There's no value in lying to yourself. I mean, Gallup tells us that 71% of the people surveyed have fallen into a career that has no inspiration for them, no excitement, no thrill, no love, no purpose. They're totally disengaged. That's almost 3/4 of the population. You heard of Peter Diamandis? Peter Diamandis, I believe it was Fortune magazine or Forbes, one of those, voted him as one of the top 50 movers and shakers, top 50 entrepreneurs on the planet. He's a futurist. He's involved in a lot of projects going into space. He's done work with Elon Musk. And Diamandis says this. He's all about technology. I mean, he is looking at how technology is changing the world and changing the future. And he co-authored a book with Stephen Kotler. I believe it's called Abundance. And his whole projection is that we're moving into a more and more abundant time. Not scarce time, but the reason we think it's scarce is because the old ways are going away. And so we've got to adapt. We've got to grow. Well, what does that take? Well, it takes mindset. It takes letting go. It takes growing here. Diamandis said, with all I know about technology, and he knows a lot, if I had to pick between technology and mindset, as it applies to success, technology would have to go. These are not just my ideas. These are fact. So, although I've already told you, it's not just mindset. Mindset's there, but it's just not just mindset. Because you see, mindset without skills and without application, and without consistency is a severe waste of space. You can go sit in a cave and soar into the realms of the mystic and develop an incredible consciousness and an incredible, absolute awareness. But why are you in a physical body? That's a severe waste of space, in my opinion. It's not just mindset. It's not just skills. It's not just techniques. What is the trifecta to maximum success, wealth, and fulfillment? Well, here's for your notes. It's mindset, it's inspiration, it's skill, it's technology, and it's one more that's really, really important. Now you said, James, that's more than three. I'm gonna tell you how those condense together in just a moment. Stick with me. You see, here's another noteworthy statement. The quality of your practice determines the quality of your performance. The quality of your practice determines the quality of your performance. You know, it's not just going through the motions. It's a practice that is solely focused on, based on Anders Ericsson's research, improvement, development, growth. How can I get better? 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 How can I reach a level of mastery? Every single day. For 10 years or more, according to his research. You see, the masterful individual comes to the realization that skills and inspiration alone are not enough. They're just not enough. He must develop those skills and that inspiration to a level of mastery. You know what this takes? Some of you are not going to want to hear this, but I hope you're one that does. It takes long, hard work. I mean, I was coaching someone this morning and I was sharing with her, you know what? I invested every dime that I had. I invested every ounce of time that I had. I studied, I traveled, I apprenticed, I worked with teachers, I consumed, I practiced and practiced for 20 years before I ever wrote my first book. 20 years. Or had my first event, 20 years. Now, you tell people in the age of narcissism that they have to invest 20 years, and they're like, oh, I haven't got that kind of time. Well, what else are you going to do with the rest of your life? If it's not about a commitment to mastery, then I, in my humble opinion, take it or leave it, it's a waste of time. It's a total waste of time because that's why you're here. Mastery takes relentless practice. I mentioned Anders Ericsson. He's a psychologist and he is the man in what it takes to reach a level of elite performance, mastery. And he says it takes a minimum of 10,000 hours. Now you break down 10,000 hours. We've talked about this before. It's over 10 years. It's just under 3 hours a day of what he calls deliberate practice. Not just going through the motions, but practice that states, how can I get better? How can I get better? How can I tweak it? How can I improve it? How can I make it a little better? How can I polish it? How can I change the edges, take off the roughness? How can I say it better? How can I deliver it better? On and on every single day, 3 hours a day, every single day for 10 years. That's what it takes. There's no secret sauce. I already said that, didn't I? There's no magic bullet. God, I think I said that too. There's no quick fix. There's no nirvana where you reach this space, you know, and it's easy peasy. There's no sign up 3 people and they sign up 3 people and they sign up 3 people and then you retire on a lifetime residual. Bullshit. No. And if you've been in network marketing, you know what I'm talking about. I've done a lot of work in network marketing, and the people who are killing it are busting hump every day, every day, every day. And that's what it takes if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to be masterful, if you're going to bring greatness to the world. You got to be up and at it every day, up and at it every day, doing God's work. I call my work God's work. And you say, well, James, that's kind of arrogant. No, I don't mean it that way. You know, I believe that God has given all of us a purpose. He's given us all gifts. And our greatest gift from God is our unlimited capacity to achieve mastery. And with the gifts we've been given, our greatest gift back to God is to develop them fully and to utilize them fully and to go all in. And that, my friend, is God's work. So I've given you the trifecta. Let me just nail it down real nice and tight here. 3 things for maximum success, ultimate performance. Number 1 is inspiration. Inspiration is purpose. It's mindset. An inspired mind is a mind that is hungry for growth and improvement. You know, if inspiration means to be spirit, to be filled with spirit, the animating principle of this universe, to have the life force pouring through us, which it does from the original Latin, then there's always room for growth and improvement. And we're hungry for that. That's the mindset you must have. I'm hungry to learn and grow. I'm hungry to face the challenges because that makes me a better, bigger person. Number 2 is preparation. Preparation are the skills and the abilities. It's a deliberate practice. Prepare, 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 prepare. You know, I told you I prepared for 20 years before I ever wrote my first book. I didn't try to be an expert because I could get on a Facebook feed. Come on. Come on. No, and I know this isn't popular. There's probably people signing off right now. And I hope, you know, if you're still here and this message is resonating with you, because the people that my message resonates with are the people who like it raw and real, are the people who have maybe chased the dreamers market for a time and then they go, hey, this doesn't work. You know, I got to find what works. I promise you what I share with you works, and you've got to work it. Inspiration, preparation, deliberate practice. The quality of your practice determines the quality of your performance. And finally, perspiration, which is a nice word for sweat. Gotta love it. One of my favorite quotes from the Spartan warriors, he who sweats more in training bleeds less in war. It's true. Inspiration is mindset and purpose. Preparation is deliberate practice. It's getting on the field every day, whatever your field may be, and getting better, developing more skills, developing more abilities. And perspiration is just to do it until it's done. You know? It's not about working 8 hours a day. Please. You don't quit when you're tired. You quit when it's done. You fall into bed, if you're doing this correctly, you fall into bed every single night totally exhausted. I do. Tired, and yet you're still inspired because you know you got 4 to 6 hours and you're going to get up tomorrow and you're going to hit the field again. You're going to get in the arena again. You're going to prepare. You're going to develop the skills and the ability. You're going to stretch your mind. You're going to work with the coaches who are going to get you beyond your own bullshit and your own nonsense, because you can't take an objective view of your own nonsense. None of us can, including me. You know, This whole idea of preparation and perspiration is so foreign. In today's world, research proves to us, I've shared this with you before, that the vast majority of people have the attention span of a goldfish. Literally, that's not a metaphor. Literally. I think a goldfish has an 8 or 9 second attention span, and research tells us that we have 6. Are you serious right now? Right? That's why I have to condense this and keep it really tight, because people are like, oh, I'm over here checking the cat videos, and I'm over here checking my email, and I'm over here looking at my text messages, and, are you being here? Or are you being goldfish? Less than goldfish, for God's sakes. It's not popular because it Bear's laughing on the other side of the camera. Cracking me up. I see people dabbling. You're either a dabbler or a master. There's no in between. I see people, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that, and I'm going to try that. And at some level, there is some wisdom in that, and I'll come back to that in a moment. But also, that's a surefire methodology to be a dabbler for your entire life. You're either a dabbler or you're a master. And if you're a master, you have to pick your one thing. And you got to give your entire life, soul, heart, mind, energy to it, instead of jumping from one shiny object to the next. So inspiration is your purpose. You see, most people don't know their purpose. They just don't. You know, I've been really blessed to work with hundreds of thousands, millions of people from around the world. And the number one question that I get asked a lot of questions, but the most popular one is, James, what's my purpose? What's the meaning of life? What's life about? Why am I here? Some derivation of what's my purpose. If you're in this category, then here's what I'm going to tell you to do. Come at it from a different angle. Take a skill that you have and practice it. And practice it. And practice it. And sweat over it until your purpose emerges. Hard work. Hard work. The only way to do great work, if you want to do great work, is to do a lot of work. So, you know, the fact is most things that you do are not going to work, at least not at first. Mine don't. But you got to do a lot of work. The only way to do great work is to do a lot of work. So you work relentlessly until something does work, until the purpose emerges. You know, so many people are like, oh, I'm just not inspired. I got to get inspired. No, work your little tail feathers off until inspiration comes. If you have the inspiration and you know your purpose, God bless you. You're in, the 25% club. But if you don't, then work your tail feathers off until it emerges. Because something will hit. If we had more time, I could give you the whole lineage of how my life unfolded for me to find my purpose. It didn't happen like that. You know, obviously, what got Kobe Bryant, who I'm a big fan of. I'm not a sports fan, really, but I love athletes because they know the dedication it takes to do what they do. Kobe Bryant got up at 4 a.m. every single day to practice and train hard. Even when he was already Kobe Bryant. It took a mind of steel. It took mental toughness. It took a commitment to excellence to get up at 4 a.m. every single day and to practice and to practice and to practice when his team would show up at 11 for team practice. That's why he was Kobe Bryant. So the mindset has to come first. It's first and foremost, but it doesn't end there. You've got to determine, and I'm going to be repetitive here, but it needs to be heard. You got to determine that you're going to work and practice and work and practice and work and practice until the day that you exit this lifetime. You got to let go of the Pollyanna romantic view that someday you're going to, quote, arrive. And there's some magic number. I can promise you, I've been blessed to make a lot of money in my lifetime, and there's no magic number. I used to think there was until I got there, and then it wasn't the magic number, and so I just upped it and thought, well, the next measurement is the magic number. And I got there, and no, that wasn't it either. There's no magic number. You're not ever going to arrive, and it's not ever going to fall into your lap easily. When I was making multiple millions of dollars every year, it was not easy. I was on the road over 250 days a year, and it was a grind. And I had to continue through my own inspiration, through my own commitment, through my own mental toughness and resilience to push forward even when you're tired, even when you don't feel like it. Anyone who tells you that there's push-button success or there is an arrival point is trying to sell you something. They're trying to sell you some quick fix and secret sauce. It doesn't exist. You have to practice and practice and practice and work. You see, practice is not something you just do to get great. Practice is something you do when you are great, to become greater. Ask Kobe Bryant. Ask Michael Jordan. Ask Picasso. You can't, unfortunately. Kind of like to meet the dude. So let me just give you 4 last points here in summation for your notes. Set your mind. Commit to mindset over marketing, mindset over everything else. But it doesn't end there, because mindset without execution is a waste of space. Do you get that? Number 2, find your genius, find your gifts, find your greatness, and practice them every single day. And you say, well, James, I've got gifts. I don't know what my purpose is. Then use your gifts to practice and improve and practice and improve and practice and improve until your purpose emerges, because it will emerge. They're there for a reason. Number 3, get inspired. You know, in my Ultimate Performance Forum, where we have a group of individuals that get together with me once a month, and they ask me all kinds of questions about what they're going through in life and in their business. One of the questions on Tuesday when we had our last session was, James, do you believe there's a difference between business and spirituality? No, absolutely not. Because understood properly, spirit is the animating force. It's the life force of this universe. And when you're inspired, you're infused with spirit, you're in the flow state, you're fired up, your mindset is on point and on purpose, and you're bringing that into a tangible business, into a tangible reality, into a tangible result in the world. And then 4, have I said this already? Get to work. Get to work. Look, make a mental commitment that you're going to work hard for the rest of your days. Working hard for your purpose is hardly work. You follow that? When you work hard for your purpose, it's hardly work. It's not really work. Of course, it is work, but it doesn't feel the same. When you work hard for someone else's purpose, it's miserable. It's miserable. You might as well work hard at doing something that you're here to do. Thank you so much for being here. Share this if it's been valuable for you. Put your comments below. I love you. I care about you. Next week we have episode 30. Damn. We're like rocking and rolling here. And until we speak again, I hope I've given you some things to think about and to put into application. Stay awake as always. Love life, even the hard stuff, and be epic.